All right, I'm turning to you for my interpreter. You speak fluent Rodgers. So interpret what he said on SportsCenter Monday night and his farewell to Kenny Mayne appearance. What do you got for me, Rob?
It's a language that I have been studying for 16 years now, and I feel like I am somewhat fluent in it. And with all things Rodgers, it's not necessarily what he says, it's what he doesn't say. And who didn't he say that he loves in that clip, right? He said he loved the fans, he loved the coaches, he loves his teammates. I never heard the words Brian Gutekunst or Mark Murphy, that would be the general manager and the president of the Packers. And when he talked about doing things the right way, you have to read in that he believes that those two people did not do things the right way when it came to treating him. And this goes back to, obviously, the Jordan Love pick, nothing personal to Love. But we know that Brian Gutekunst never gave Rodgers the heads up that not only might they be picking a quarterback, but that they would trade up in the first round to do so.
So let's dig in a little bit here, because I think he said the word people more than a dozen times last night. And is he referring to himself as the people of the organization, or are there others in the organization that he knows that he feels have been slighted and he's taking up for a larger cause, or is this just about what's going on with him?
I think it's more what's going on with him. And you're right. I think it was 14 times. Our Kevin Seifert, the crack national reporter, must have time on his hands, because I saw him tweet that it was 14 times he used the word people. But I would say this, this is a selfish business, and that's not a criticism of Rodgers. That's not a criticism of any player. But players are selfish. They want to be treated the way that they deserve and think that they are to be treated. I'm sitting, outside of Lambeau Field right now, and you look at this monster stadium, and I guarantee you Brett Favre probably feels like, hey, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have been able to renovate that stadium in 2001 and 2002. And then to the west of the stadium is this massive Titletown district, and when Aaron Rodgers drives in from his house in Green Bay, that's what he sees, and he probably says to himself, they wouldn't have built this if it wasn't for me. I made all these people rich, and I made this organization successful. And in some ways, they're right. Without those two guys, Green Bay isn't what it is right now, and this stadium isn't one of the true gems in the NFL, and this town isn't built up as a tourist attraction if those guys don't do what they did. So there is some entitlement that maybe is deserved.
Rob Demovsky, Packers reporter, been covering the team since 1997, now at the worldwide leader in sports, kind enough to call in today as there is the OTA on-field practice for a second straight day, and Rodgers, it was funny, he confirmed he's not there as he's sitting on his phone, zooming in from Hawaii for Kenny. And, let's talk about what we can take out of this, what we can confirm about what we assume this whole kerfuffle has been about, based on what that one portion of the interview where they, he did as allow something to be said on it. It was funny because Kenny pushed back at one point, asked him, are you demanding a trade? And he said, I've said all I wanted to say. Let's talk about you right now.
Exactly.
So you picked up on that also. So what can we confirm? Because he said it wasn't about the draft pick. And as I said at the top of the show, Rob, these are not mutually exclusive things. He can still love Jordan Love. We had Aaron Jones on the show, talked about how he's seen him personally mentor, coach up Jordan Love. So he can love the kid, but doesn't love the fact that the kid was brought in the manner in which he was brought in.
Right.
So can we confirm that this is about the draft pick? This is what it was about, or there's something else? Kumaro? I mean, you hear all this stuff. What can we glean from last night, Rob?
Here's what it comes down to, Rich, is that Rodgers thinks that he has earned the right to control when things end in Green Bay. And now the decision to pick Love, to trade up to do it, as he said shortly after it happened, made it probably not a reality that he could control the way things end. And when he went out, he was a good soldier all last year, right? It was this, he had this sort of whatever will be mentality. All the while he was marching his way to his third MVP. And I think once he sort of proved to everybody that, I am still the best or one of the best in the game, And yes, in 2018, under Mike McCarthy, my last year, I wasn't all that engaged. And in 2019, I was learning a new system. But now, with Matt LaFleur's system, completely under his belt, he went out and played like an MVP that he was. And now he probably feels like he's got the control back in his corner, right? So I think that's what it's about. It's about not wanting to be a lame duck quarterback. They wouldn't commit to him initially this offseason beyond this year, and he didn't want to be a lame duck guy going into 2021 with the possibility that they were going to move on to Jordan Love in 2022. And to me, all that other stuff is minor in comparison to that fact that he no longer felt like he had control over his own future and that he felt like he deserved control over that future.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.